Good morning, everyone. My name is MK. I am the project resource mobilization lead at NumFOCUS, and it is an honor to welcome to the stage Saranjeet Kaur Bhogal. She will be giving a talk on empowering new contributors on the evolving role of the R development guide. Saranjeet, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, MK. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, can you tell me if you can see my screen fine? Hello. MK, can you still hear me?
Sanjay, yep, we can hear you, and we can see your screen as well.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, hello everyone. My name is Saranjeet Kaur Bhogal. I'm very delighted to present this talk on empowering new contributors, the evolving role of the R Development Guide, also known as the RDev Guide here at PyData Global 2024. This journey of the R Development Guide began with initial draft that was funded by the R Foundation in 2021. And today I will share the journey, the updates that have been made, and the ongoing efforts to improve this essential resource for the R community. A little bit about myself. I am a research software engineer at Imperial College London, and I have also been a technical writer for the R Development Guide through the seed fund by R Foundation in 2021 and then via Google Season of Talks in 2022. Why do we really need this guide, and what was the motivation of creating this guide? So one of the most important motivation was creating accessible pathways for contribution, especially for new contributors, how they could be onboarded to the art project, and how we could help bridge gaps like helping the new contributors navigate processes like bug fixes, translations, testing in the R project. So the overall vision of having this guide was to create a welcoming, inclusive, and beginner-friendly resource for new contributors who or people who wanted to contribute to the art project. So on this slide, I am sharing an illustration of the RDev guide, which shows individuals at different levels of experience with art. They could be beginners, intermediate, and seasoned. And it depicts how the RDev guide is a welcoming space for all these individuals with varied levels of experience and how they have a way of contributing to the guide. So the beginner level people are shown putting some building blocks together. The contributors at intermediate level are using some who have some familiarity with the tools are using them to build the project further, and those at the seasoned or the more experienced level are constructing more advanced work. So this illustration was created with the help of a scribe area artist during the Turing Way Book Dash in June 2024. And as I speak, the RDev guide has a new cover page that is inspired from this scribe area illustration. So let's talk about the journey of this guide in brief. So it started as through the discussions uh, on the RLD Slack during the user 2020 conference. So after that, the R Foundation provided me a seed grant in 2021, and under the mentorship of Heather Turner and Michael Lawrence, and we developed the RDev guide as a resource for contributors, new contributors joining the art project. facilitating their onboarding and helping them navigate the contribution process. After that funding, I presented the initial work done on the guide at USA 2021, and soon after, I received a grant to build a community around the guide by the Digital Infrastructure Incubator at Code for Science and Society. Uh, after this incubator, or almost this incubator was about to get over, I was invited to present a talk on this guide at Latinar in 2021, and then we had the second round of updates to the guide during Google Season of Talks 2022, which were presented earlier this year at USAR 2024. So the discussions began around 2020, and then we do have a useful guide ready now that people can use and contribute to. So the overall impact at glance, we have had over 30 contributors from across the globe contributing content to the guide. It has been forked over 20 times. Sorry, over 30 contributors across the globe. And then we have had several collaboration events, including collaboration campfires, dev days, hackathons, and sprints as a way to contribute to the guide and to the our project using this guide. About these community initiatives, one of the initial initiatives were collaboration campfires, which we conducted in 2022, and it was like a space to get used to the process of contributing to R using Bugzilla, how you could submit patches. So that was the motivation of conducting those campfires. Then we had an elaborate sprint at University of Warwick in 2023, and after that we have had many dev days as satellite events to conferences or as standalone dev days where people contributed to different issues and content to the guide. There are also regular R contributor office hours, which are hosted by the R contribution working group. So if you're someone who is interested in contributing to the project and wants to know more but doesn't know where to start, I think the R contributor office hours is a good place to go hang out and uh, get a sense of how you could get started, ask your questions, or um, interact with the community there. So the after the initial period or the initial draft of the RDev guide, the second round of major update happened during Google Season of Talks in 2022, where we decided to expand and reorganize the guide. There were new chapters added to the guide, which included an introduction chapter, chapter on message translations, chapter on testing in BaseR, how a Git workflow for patches chapter, and we tried to improve the readability of the guide and the structure of the guide. And there was a focus on adding beginner-friendly examples. So if someone wants to submit a bug report or a patch to an existing bug, then they would get to know the process of how to do so instead of relying on distributed manuals. This could be the RDev guide, could be one sole resource to rely on and understand the process of contributing. So let's walk through the overall current structure as the dev guide stands today. There is always scope to improve it further, but yes, let's take a look at what is the state of the guide as of now. So there is an introduction chapter which tells the reader or gives an overview of what are the different ways of contributing to the base art project. There's a quick start to the guide and also a section on how to contribute to the guide itself. So if you have any um, content which would be worthwhile to be a part of the guide, or if you spot any issues or errors or typos in the guide, then you can always contribute to the guide itself. Then there is a chapter on R patched and development versions, which talks a lot about how you could build R on different operating systems and try to uh, replicate bugs or try to resolve the bugs that are existing or present on Bugzilla or reported on Bugzilla. I've been talking about Bugzilla, so the tracking chapter introduces you to how you could get set up on Bugzilla, how to get an account on that platform, and then if you want to contribute to the existing issues, then how to contribute, how to look for bugs that are already present or that need contribution from the community. Besides that, there's also another way for the community to contribute to our project, which is by reporting bugs that exist. So for that, in the reporting bugs chapter, we first try to discuss what is a bug. So sometimes there might be a error message which we would feel that it's a bug in our, but it might really not be a bug. So this lesson essentially focuses on discussing what is a bug, what might not be a bug, and then check how to check if it is already reported. Where are some places where you could potentially find a bug, and if you find one, then how to report this bug. We also talk about what are the good practices in reporting bugs, or what are the expectation of a good bug report. And we've also shared some examples of bug reports that have been submitted on Bugzilla for you to take inspiration from regarding the structure and how you would really shape that report. There is also a new chapter on submitting feature requests. So we talk about in this chapter what is a feature request and how you could submit feature request. This is demonstrated by examples of feature requests that have been submitted on Bugzilla. So if you have an idea of a feature request that you want to submit, then this is a good chapter to follow um, to get an idea of how you could submit one. Besides tracking bugs, reporting bugs, there is also the our community could also benefit a lot if people contribute to review bugs. So reviewing bugs is a chapter that would talk about how you can really help review bug reports. There are different ways to help or to make the bug review process faster and contribute your time to do so. So that could be why via classifying the bug reports, and then for that you might want to first understand how to find a report or an issue that needs a review. So there are some examples of bug reviews submitted to Bugzilla, and in this chapter you would get some idea or some guidelines around what are some of the good practices of reviewing bug reports. Then we also talk about finding the R source code and C source code, because sometimes it might be helpful to take a look at existing source code, and how to do that is explained in this chapter. Then after you have uh, found a bug and you want to submit a fix to that bug, then that is essentially done via a patch. So this chapter on life cycle of a patch would introduce you to when you need to really submit a patch and what are the tools that would be required to do so. There's some comments on how to prepare a patch, what are good patches or standard ways of writing patches, um, and then what happens once you submit a patch, what is the process like, the cycle that it goes through, and then how you can communicate with the reviewer or the person who is trying to review the patch that you have submitted. Another very interesting chapter is on documenting. So this chapter introduces the contributors to the RD files, which are the R documentation files, and then it also talks about guidelines on how you could write the R help files or R manuals. There's a section on how you could help with documentation or proofread it, and how you could report if there are any bugs in the documentation of R, or it's external or manuals or related to R. Then there is another chapter on message translations. This chapter essentially talks about how translations work in R. You could get a glimpse of what are .pot files, what are PO files, and how you could contribute to translations in R. They could be message translations, translations of vignettes, cheat sheets, or related things. How you could do bulk translations, and then it also takes you through a tool called as Weblate, which we have been using to translate messages in R. And it talks about the current status of translations in R. Then one more essential chapter is talking about the testing of pre-release R versions, where, what, and how to test pre-release R versions, and as well as how you could write tests for R. So these are some of the chapters, depending on your interest, which you could walk through or go through and see if there is a way that you could get involved with the R community or try to contribute to the R project. Overall, this has been a really good experience. There has been a really positive impact on the community, especially new contributors. Um, as we have been conducting more and more dev days, hackathons, events, and we have been enhancing the guide, it has become more and more accessible, especially for newcomers to be able to contribute to the art project, uh, compared to when they were relying only on the official documentation. So as the guide is evolving, it is definitely creating a more inclusive and supporting environment for people who want to contribute to the project. So this is a way to contribute to the guide itself, besides the art project. So if you come across a typo or error in the documentation of the guide, then there is a edit icon at the top of the guide, and if you click on that icon, then you should be able to suggest any corrections, or if you want to suggest a feature or some comment that you have, then you can go to the GitHub issues, on the repo, the guide where the guide is hosted, and suggest your issue. If you want to read more about how you want to contribute to this guide, then there is a section in the introduction chapter where you could get more information of contributing to the guide. Well, that's it from my side. Thank you so much, and I'm open to any questions. The slides are also available on Zenodo, so the link is shared in the slide, and I think also on the chat. Yes, MK.
Yeah, so we still got about 10 minutes
Mhm.
left in this session. Folks, if you all and there is an option to do an individual one-on-one chat on
Mhm.
AirMeet as well. So if folks do have questions and yeah, just maybe are too shy to send it in the chat, um, you can request to yeah, to meet with Sanjit, and yeah. Other than that, I'm happy to give you all about 10 minutes back of your time, and um, thank you again to our speaker, Saranjeet, for this insightful talk, and for gracing us with your presence on the PyData Global stage.
Thank you, MK.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.